It has been 17 months since I recorded this challenge, and this is actually the second episode. I never uploaded the first one until now. You, as an appreciator of this movie, can exclusively find episode 1 linked below. This is briefly what happened. I bought my first pangolin item on Wam Bam Island. I farmed the varkids there until I was allowed to equip that fancy thing, and only then I continued to Captain Flynt. Roland had been freed from the Warden, and Wilhelm was the next robot that had to be destroyed. I had no clue how to fight him. Now this is where today's episode starts. An idea of mine was to skill into Kinetic Reflection as well as into Cloud Kill, so I could maybe deflect bullets from the gun loaders towards Wilhelm and let the cloud do the work, but I would have to reach level 24 to use both these abilities combined. I spent 13 minutes hurling rocks at Wilhelm, torturing him telepathically and waving away those pesky surveyors. Then I died. Oh no. Not once, but twice. I preferred to not farm too many deaths there, so I went on a detour through Moxxis Wedding Day DLC to actually work towards that wacky strategy I had come up with. That simply meant gaining XP. The level range of the enemies in that area, level 16 to 18, was just right for my liking. I punched and phaselocked my way past the Hodunks and Zafords and past the Bling Loader all the way to the Wedding Massacre without dying even once. My heart's a little bit racing right now. No! Yes! That was it, right? So apparently, if you ever wondered, yes, you can beat this DLC with Pangolin Allegiance as Maya. Wait, there's one nice one. Oh, it's better. I also completed all the few side missions there. Innuendobot himself turned out to be the most healthy enemy in that DLC. At least that's how it felt. And he also was the most buggy enemy, which makes a lot of sense actually. I still hadn't reached level 24, so I turned to the dreaded pirate-infested wasteland. I had been hesitant to return to this DLC since that's where in episode 1, the one life challenge that this playthrough started as ended very suddenly. Anyway, I completed some simple side missions, I nearly died a third time in that DLC, and I farmed even more XP by completing side missions. Soon I found myself in that area with the most delightful background music in this game. But the pleasure my ears perceived was negated by what my eyes spotted. This place was full of enemies above my level. In the midst of this tense situation, I found myself a friend. My large capacity shield was frequently broken through, and I had to go refill my health repeatedly. My puppy reliably waited for me to return. Crystalisks were the most easy enemies, Sniper-wielding Pirates the most stressful. I swear, my puppy was just about to fetch his first grenade item from across the fighting ground as our partnership was cut short. No! They killed my dog! Yeah, that's good. Also, there were the powder monkeys. I had already learned my lesson the hard way in the previous episode, not to touch the barrels on their backs. I aimed with my fists very carefully because... Whoa! Not again! Their gunpowder explosions ignore health gate. I kept pushing forward. There were more powder monkeys as well as dangerous badass pirates. Multiple of them. It went slowly because I had to replenish health and grenades regularly, but I eventually managed to clear the way to Sandman. At first, I thinned out the regular pirates one by one. What? What just happened? Ghost attack. No, bullets, no. I had run out of grenades again, so I had to visit the nearest vendors. But those pirates respawned faster than I could push forward, and suddenly I found myself sandwiched between dangerous enemies. The powder monkeys and badasses on the field before Sandman's place would also start respawning shortly. The reason why I was playing this DLC in the first place was so I could level up sufficiently to defeat Wilhelm, but it seemed like I would also need to level up to continue playing this DLC. So I chose to get back to Wilhelm and simply try once more. But not before trying to get a better shield from the vendors in Haters Folly. Why is it level 17? It has 2 pangolin parts. Please be level 19. No! It's getting late. Let's grab that, let's go. Also, I wanted to reach level 19 before I would go face Wilhelm again. Killing those threshers may not have been the fastest XP farm, but it was safe and as a bonus, quite fun. Back to Wilhelm, finally. Level up, here we go. What's the surveyor doing? He's not doing anything. No, no, dude. After one more death, I got him down in less than 3 minutes of fighting. Everything the aggroed. How convenient. How convenient? What? What? Okay. I chose to give the combat in Overlook a pass and make up for the missing XP by farming the scattered enemies in the dust, which was very easy and relaxing compared to how the Overlook fight would have been. The next story mission was wildlife preservation, including the Bloodwing fight, and for that I wanted to be well prepared in terms of XP. It occurred to me that it might be beneficial to have the DLCs scale to different levels later, so I stayed in the main game for as long as it was sensible. I stumbled upon the secretly unique shield from Karima in Overlook. I hadn't thought about this special item until the very second I got it, so unfortunately it was practically out-leveled at that point. But hey, it was the first unique item of this run, so I put it on for the following mission just for the novelty of it. You may ask, why is that thing unique? Its special feature is having a white core, mismatching its rarity, that's all. Visiting this bandit camp in the dust, it was just another day on Pandora, I guess, though the loot was noteworthy. Obviously I was trying to do the mission where you have to light the volleyball net on fire. I was technically able to accomplish that myself. With the right skills chosen in my skill tree, I would only need to fall into fight for your life mode next to the net and then deflect any bullet towards an enemy with the volleyball net being in the way. But I really didn't fancy a visit to the respawn station, so I tried to trick a bandit into committing this mischief for me. He hits it. You see it? He hits it. So I left this mission open. I went to the Caustic Caverns to farm more XP and also to get the only legendary item available for me, the fabled tortoise. What is phaselock? Oh, I can phaselock him! No way! What? Why am I'm stuck? No! Oh crap! That was weird. Wait, what? What? Thank you? The Caustic Caverns was surprisingly fun. Probably because phaselocking threshers left and right is weirdly satisfying, and also the enemies were between level 20 and 22, which was optimal. So I cleared the entire area, more or less. Oh no! Oh no! If he doesn't go away? That is my biggest fear here. He does go away. Come out. I dare you. No! Please! No! No! In the Caverns I reached level 24, and if you paid attention at the start, you should know that this level up wouldn't be a regular one, but more like a Witch Doctor type of level up. The Kinetic Reflection plus Cloud Kill fighting style was unlocked. From then on I only had to kill one weak enemy to trigger the bullet reflection, and that would trigger the cloud on a practically random enemy. And I'm sure you know what the cloud does. It melts bones, faster than anyone can crawl away. The fridge would usually send shivers down any Vault Hunter's spine, but with my new ability, and not to forget a high capacity Pangolin shield, I completed all the missions there without having to touch the death counter. Nonetheless, this area was quite nerve-wracking, with as many close calls as never before. Whoa, this is getting out of control. Another one of those? Stay here. Okay. And they all spawn. Of course they... Okay, that was good. Kinda. We have 9 grenades though. 9 grenades for Smash Head. Smash Head? Wait. No, that's not fair. Right after leveling up again, I treated myself with another new shield. I settled for a green one because finding a higher rarity shield in a vending machine from a specific manufacturer on a specific level and with decent parts is probably as frustrating as getting Lenny to fall for scooter. Cringe.
What? Jimmy?
In Bloodwing's arena, sadly, there were no bullets for me to deflect, though to my delight, Bloodwing clearly couldn't stand my phaselock, so having farmed those extra levels had been a good decision. The 1000 cuts went smoothly since I was still overleveled and opportunity went easy too. But then, as I was going to approach the bunker, the game had caught up to my level and I felt the sudden urge to go look for another side mission or two. I noticed the dust had also scaled to a higher level, so I happily farmed some more XP there. At that point, the skill points I was earning were about as useful as the legendaries I was getting. All I needed was the extra survivability. The Hyperion contract mission awarded me with the 3rd level up in this farming session and I was ready for the next boss fight.
Nice. Cool. No! No! You don't! No! No! Oh my god. No! Oh crap, that's a death. That was so...
While fighting the bunker, I had the fabled tortoise on most of the time and my health bar stayed untouched throughout the entire fight. And I didn't even hide on the lowest platform. It took me just over 10 minutes, 37 phaselocks and a few unfriendly gestures to defeat the bunker and clear the way to Control Core Angel. The combat there was surprisingly exciting because it challenged me to work on the timing of my fighting, assuming we can consider it fighting, throwing boulders at loaders than simply standing there as the tanky target that I was. Regardless, not even the baddest loaders stood a chance. In Sawtooth Cauldron the bandits were on level 29, on the same level as I was, so back I went to the dust, which had scaled again, conveniently. I had never farmed the dust so extensively. I have to say, it is a very chill and non-monotonous place to farm XP. Plus, I get to drive a car up some slopes. After gaining another 3 levels, I could already farm the vendors in Digistruck Peak, which offered me items from level 33 to 35. I found a decent green shield that more than doubled my capacity for the time being, as well as one in purple rarity on level 34. Shielded to the teeth, I jumped into Sawtooth Cauldron and the first thing I did was kill a midget with a headshot. At that moment I knew I would probably be okay in that area. Indeed I was. The copters even crashed down with a single phaselock, just barely. Usually the second pump station is the most challenging one, but I went through there like I owned the place. Those loaders even kept chaining themselves. One would fall apart just in time to trigger the cloud on the next one. Not even an exploder could break my shield. Saturn, fortunately, was not immune to phaselock. The average Vault Hunter would likely go down when intruding the Infestigate like this, being showered by all kinds of projectiles at the entrance, but for me and my trusty Pangolin shield, that situation was nothing to be stressed about, to my surprise honestly. I was hoping to cheese the door fight before Heroes Pass by smuggling in a car. Remember, I always had to kill one enemy myself to set off the cloud on the next one, and I wasn't so sure I would be able to do that there. The car had to be left behind, and I was doing okay until a loader with a Vlad of Rocketeer entered the field. I was so used to my shield being impenetrable that I didn't even pay attention that well. I went down. But you know my luck. Of course, there would be a surveyor stopping by just at the right time. Before continuing though, I went and leveled up one last time because when else would I get the chance to try out that purple shield I had bought in Digistruck Peak? Easy times were over. I went down once again at the start of Heroes Pass and I rushed the rest because everybody was shooting purple bullets at my purple shield, but that causation didn't occur to me at the time.
I don't like the color of these bullets there.
So this is basically it. I was busy with one of Jack's flimsy turrets while my subconscious dealt with Jack himself, and the warrior's demise was also just a matter of time. After 16 minutes and 54 phaselocks, I had defeated the final boss and thereby beaten Borderlands 2 with nothing more than Maya's abilities and the superb protection of Pangolin, and a good handful of boulders. They honestly were the most noteworthy tool after the cloud. This was my gear. this was my build. If you're interested, check out episode 1, which I made over 1 year ago. Regardless, I hope this was inspirational and I wish every one of you all the best. Bye bye.